Well, for more on this story, let's bring in Mark Perelman, our political editor. Mark, what more do we know?
Well, we know very little. We know that two people were apprehended. Obviously, the man who slapped the president in the face. We don't know about the second person. Maybe it was the second person who was filming the incident, because we saw that it was very, very quickly spread on social media. So it's a possibility. What we do know is that the person who slapped the president cried Montjoie Saint-Denis, which is essentially a rallying cry for the royalists. I mean, it's a very limited minority in terms of political clout here in France, but it's a small group. So that's the assumption right now, but it's very, very early. What we do know is that, as usual, the president was late. He was supposed to go to a luncheon. He was already late. He was in his car. He saw people waving, shouting. He got out. He went to greet them. This was not planned, and this is possibly why there was such a situation. We know that people, when they come close to the president, they're frisked, but obviously they still have arms and hands that they can use, and so this can happen. And the president, immediately after the short footage we saw, continued to greet people as if nothing had happened. And the day, we're told by the Élysée Palace, is continuing as planned. The president is actually finishing a luncheon, and then he has another event. He's not mentioned the incident until now, and we can assume that he won't unless he's asked about it later on.
Mark, what does it say about the current political climate here in France?
Well, obviously, politicians from all across the political aisle have reacted, condemned, from the far left to the far right. We just heard the Prime Minister talk about violence. And yes, there is this notion that political discourse is becoming more and more violent. Clearly, there's tension because we're a year away from the presidential election. There was all those months of lockdown. The president was essentially on a tour to celebrate the fact that restaurants will be reopened, including indoor restaurants, as of tomorrow. More freedom will be allowed, but it seems that there's a lot of pent-up anger, and clearly there are some political goals that want to be attained by some militants. So that, yes, there is some concern, because it's not the first time that someone was slapped. Someone actually tried to kill a few years ago the then president, Jacques Chirac, with a rifle. We didn't go this far, but clearly there's going to be concern about the security of the president and also other politicians who've been attacked or whose offices have been burned in recent months.